YCN, your local view on WVBK-CA, serving Manchester, Londonderry, Vermont, and South Charlestown, New Hampshire, and WVBQ-LP, serving Charlestown, New Hampshire, and Rockingham, Vermont.
Coming up tonight on YCN, the MV Kearsarge is back afloat after taking on water Thursday night. Beer could get a 10 cents increase on tax, but local breweries argue it should go against all liquors. And meet one of the co-owners of the Salt Hill Pub. With more news, sports, and weather, stay tuned. It's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth-Lake Sunapee region. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that is happening in our area. The YCN News Hour, your local view.
Welcome to our Monday edition of YCN. I'm David Carmichael. The MV Kearsarge that took on water Thursday night was extracted from Lake Sunapee on Saturday. Officials say there was little to no environmental concern about the boat's impact on the water, and very little fluid or oil had leaked out of the boat. The vessel is back up straight and narrow and well afloat in Sunapee Harbor. Officials have not determined the cause of the boat sinking. Dartmouth College scientists are studying damages caused by Hurricane Irene and hope that their work will help communities plan for future disasters. Hurricane Irene came as a wake-up call for many Vermont communities that were ill-prepared for a hurricane. Hundreds of bridges and roads were damaged or destroyed during the storm, while rivers and streams gouged out huge sections of land. Dartmouth scientists are using a combination of observation, aerial photography, and data from remote sensors to accurately pinpoint trouble spots along the streams. The goal is to inform communities so that they can make planning decisions rather than recommendations to better prepare for future disasters. A federal appeals court will hear arguments today about whether Vermont's only nuclear power plant can continue to operate without approval from the state. Last year, a federal judge ruled that the plant could operate even though the state did not give them approval, commenting that the safety issues are the sole responsibility of the Federal Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The panel extended the Vermont plant's license to 20 years. However, state approval expires on March 21st. The nuclear power plant has been running since 1972 and currently provides more than 1/3 of the state's electricity. The proposed 2013-2014 Unity school budget is increasing 19.3% from last year. The increase, in large part, is due to the school's new building project. Instructional programs are slated to take up 63% of next year's budget. More money is also being set aside for books and new equipment in the library. Unity residents will vote on the school budget during the March town meeting. Until that time, the budget will continue to be amended by residents and school officials. The Windsor School District voted unanimously on Monday to cut around $1.2 million from the coming school budget. The majority of those slashes will come from $950,000 that will be freed up from laying off 10 to 12 faculty and staff members. The cuts come on the heels of the school operating for several years on a $400,000 deficit, declining student enrollment, and increasing health benefit figures. The superintendent said that the teachers that spend the most time with students will be looked at last during the layoff period. The district will be notifying the faculty and staff of the layoffs within the next couple weeks. A slate of proposed zoning amendments that the Lebanon City Council will consider this week for the March ballot covers new and familiar territory, including accessory apartments in residential neighborhoods, a topic that proved controversial 5 years ago when voters rejected a similar measure. The city's planning department will most likely describe the 8 amendments at a public hearing on Wednesday as a more conservative alternative to what was an unsuccessful approach the last round of zoning changes that landed on the ballot in 2008. Councilors believe the accessory apartments are a good way to provide affordable housing. Democrat Representative Chuck Weed from Keene and fellow Democrat Richard Eaton from Greenville are proposing an increase in beer tax. Currently, beer is taxed at 30 cents a gallon, and the representatives want to increase that tax 10 cents a gallon, stating the $4.2 million expected in revenue that would go to the Department of Health and Human Services for alcohol treatment. However, the bill stands to hurt these small, micro, and nano breweries in New Hampshire, since other alcohol will not see a tax increase. The beer tax is imposed on licensed wholesalers, manufacturers, brew pubs, and nano breweries, then passed on to consumers. And speaking of beer, after the break we'll meet the co-owner of the Salt Hill Pub.
The YCN News Hour continues in a moment.